Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. It's not very often that we have two patch note videos in one day, but COD timing has struck me in real life. We, of course, had our standard routine weekly update that we covered in today's first video. They introduced Albagra Fortress as a new resurgence map. I am going to post some gameplay about that map over on my second channel, so if you want to check that out, it'll be linked at the top of the description. Feel free to go and sub over there. But that was introduced, they tweeted about that, so I was like, okay, it's a simple weekly update, nothing crazy. Fortress is here, yada yada yada. I upload my video, I go eat my lunch, I go out to start hooping, because that's usually what I'm doing when it's nice outside. Little do I know, they've got patch notes dropping that include some new meta updates. I get to the core and my phone's going off. So apologies that it's a little bit later. I'm sorry for being so fast that I'm posting videos ahead of the patch notes, but we do have a new patch note update. We're going to go ahead and get into it. It does actually include some surprise meta updates, which I did not see coming, that actually will help balance things out alongside some other stuff as well with bug fixes and gameplay updates. So as we get into everything here, quick reminder, if you're new here, every single day I got you covered with all things going on in COD, meta breakdowns, patch notes, updates, you name it, it's all right here. So feel free to hit that subscribe button, and if you enjoyed this video, do me a favor, drop a like on it as well. But initially here, starting things off with the September 6th update, we got some bug fixes. They did fix an issue with the 9mm Damon akimbo attachment from unlocking, so now you can actually go through and use akimbo on the Damon pistol. Now that said, I've looked at the stats on Sim. It doesn't seem like it's going to be crazy broken, but it should be very accurate and a really good akimbo gun for what it's worth. They also fixed an issue where the amount of operators shown is inconsistent between platforms. We've already covered that one. An issue that is required the player to right click on the play again button for it to function correctly on PC. Strange one there. An issue where the operator graveskin Shadow 01 and Shadow 01 Black Cell appear identical. We literally just talked about this one earlier today, saying it should be fixed soon. And of course, it's fixed an hour later. And that's why you got to check out the update videos, because we're always talking about the patch notes early, basically, right? They also fixed an issue allowing the 9mm Damon to be unlocked with all headshots rather than just headshots from pistols. So you could like use an SMG to get the challenge done or something basically there. So now it has to be pistol headshots for the unlock criteria. Then we get into the weapon update, and this is somewhat important here. Initially with the adjustments, the following weapon changes are reflected across all of Warzone, including DMZ. They actually had to change and update these patch notes because they just said Battle Royale, insinuating that there were separate stats for Battle Royale and DMZ. But that is not the case. The Warzone specific weapon updates that are separate from multiplayer apply to Battle Royale, Resurgence, Plunder, Lockdown, and DMZ all the same. So this is going to work across all modes that have armor basically here, right? And with the battle rifles, the Squall has received yet another nerf. And this is the thing with Warzone this year for whatever reason. The meta is like broken in a sense that it takes 5, 6, 7 updates to actually effectively nerf something, right? But the Cronin, they decrease the close damage. So that's like their first damage range. That's not a wildly important one because that's oftentimes not where you're using the Cronin, but it is actually nerfed there. It will take more shots to kill. They also nerfed the neck damage multiplier and the upper torso multiplier, really, favoring headshots over everything with the Cronin. And as we know, the full auto TTK is just mediocre now. It's usable for sure, but there are better options. So really now what this is really favoring is the Cronin in semi-auto, or maybe flipping back and forth. And that's maybe the reason why I'd still say the Cronin even after these nerfs, which knocked down the damage by about 1 for these specific areas. So neck I think went from 29 to 28 is what I think I saw over on Twitter basically. But with this, it's going to be one of those guns that's a flip mode basically. For some fights, you want semi-auto. For like the long range where the TTK is going to be better. Maybe in the mid-range, you want full auto because it's easier and more versatile there. But the other battle rifles don't really have that option, right? The SO14's got a really good semi-auto TTK, but full auto, it's not as usable because the recoil is super obnoxious. TAC V, not all that impressive anymore. In semi-auto, it's decent, but it's still gonna be limited there. So a 7.62 we know is crazy, ridiculous, broken, but obviously it's not realistic. You really can't call that the best. It's more of like a niche best there. Anyways, I digress. The Cronin is worse than before. Battle rifles in general aren't really the top of the meta right now. It's a little bit of rifles with like the 7.62, and then of course the LMGs are like the main long range meta right now in my opinion. The RAP is absolute #1 RPK, but not entirely. They nerfed the close damage range basically, or that close damage, so it's gonna be worse in that first range, but that's not really that important for an RPK either, but it is significantly worse there. They also buffed the close range though, so that damage range where the damage was nerfed is now longer essentially. They did buff the headshot multiplier, but they nerfed the neck and the torso and the limb multipliers. So they're really valuing RPK headshots because it's such an easy weapon to use. This means if you're accurate with it, it's still going to be decent, especially over range. It's a solid LMG option up there in terms of, you know, meta efficiency with something like the Wrap, which has that super fast TTK but isn't as aggressive as the RPK. Honestly, the HCR and the Icarus and the RAL are all really good options too there. All the LMGs are pretty solid, but it's slightly worse up close. And then it's going to be better if you're super accurate with it and you can consistently hit headshots. Hit 2 of those in a gunfight, you're going to be looking good, but some slight meta changes there. They also decrease the precision airstrike damage to MRAPs, so you can't be just absolutely destroyed by that in Armored Royale. We also have some more general bug fixes, some issues with Codcaster, not really all that important. An issue that could cause packet bursts and decreased performance on Vondel. That's a solid update there for sure. An issue where multiple objects could float in the air at Zaya Observatory. I think this has to do with some of the contracts because those were busted a bit there. An issue that could lead to missing collision on Zaya Observatory, leading to an exploit. So a few issues with it being a new map update there, basically. In Battle Royale, an issue where the vehicle under attack warning appears in Armored Royale. An issue that could prevent UI from appearing correctly in Armored Royale. Fix an issue where a teammate leaving an Armored Royale quads would not lower the resurgence timer. A lot of Armored Royale updates for some reason. An issue where armor plates would not reset from the pregame lobby once you started a match of Armored Royale. Fix an issue where the player could be kicked back to the main menu after trying to enter the calling card or emblem sections. An issue that could cause safecracker contract safes to spawn inside of objects at Zaya Observatory, what I was talking about earlier there. An issue that could allow players to enter the Sarif Bay Black Site without a key. That was a pretty big one there. An issue with the MRAP's use turret prompt has extended range, interfering with or preventing interactions with buy stations, so it kind of just block you there. An issue where the rotation Battle Royale quads playlist was showing a placeholder mode. An issue where operators could clip into each other after entering and exiting an MRAP turret in Armored Royale. Basically, any Battle Royale bug fixes here probably relate to Armored Royale is what I'm getting at. We also have some DMZ updates here too. An issue where a SAM-sided Zaya Observatory could spawn clipping into a bus. An issue where a gas canister in the bunker at Zaya could not be looted. An issue where viewing a weapon's progression through the insured weapon slot, then selecting view weapon would kick you back to the main menu. An issue where players could delete backpack slots using the stove functionality when looting a cache. Then also an issue in DMZ where the player was able to have both tier 3 and 4 of the upgrades active simultaneously, and tier 4 wasn't able to be completed. So mainly just some QOL updates there, fixing a handful of bugs with a new map update. Really the surprise here is the weapon adjustments. That said, it kind of just enforces more of where the meta was already leaning. Battle rifles not all that great, and the Squall is more so just a weapon that people are clinging to because they're comfortable with. The real meta is, like I said, the M13, the 7.62, and then any LMG that you really like is going to be solid there, including the RPK. Despite some of the nerfs here, it'll be a little bit worse if you're not super accurate, but if you're really good with it, it's still going to be a great LMG. Weird that these patch notes were so delayed compared to the update, but COD's communication lately has been a bit strange, so hopefully they can get their stuff together here ASAP. That said, though, that is going to wrap things up for this one. That's everything that changed in the surprise meta update and various bug fixes here. If you enjoyed the video, do me a favor, drop a like on it. And if you're new here, be sure to hit that subscribe button on your way out to always guarantee you're up to date. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I will catch you guys later. Peace out.